Hello everyone, welcome back to the 10 to 1, your high-speed daily update where we're reeling in all things fishing in 10 minutes or less right here in one spot. I am your host, Mike Anderson. Today is Tuesday, March 22nd, and as always, I'm excited to be here again with all of you again today. Now, spring is in the air, the ice is starting to melt. Many kayakers and paddlers, that means it's time to get back out on the water. With tournament season starting in just a short amount of time, there's a lot of prep to do before we get back out on the water. But before you pull your kayak out of the storage and head out to the lake for the first time, let's make sure we're all staying safe out there and review some spring kayak safety tips here. A lot of paddling safety is based in common sense, yours and other people's. Now, spring weather can be unpredictable. We all know that. And you can be out of practice as it's been a while since your last kayaking trip. Now, heading out too early or ignoring the weather or paddling beyond your abilities can be extremely dangerous. Bear in mind these safety tips as you plan for paddling or pedaling or motoring this upcoming spring in your kayak. Check all gaskets. Make sure your dry storage is secure. Make sure there's no cracks in those gaskets. Anything that's going to allow water to get inside. Make sure they aren't cracked or ripped out. Gaskets tend to last 2, 3, 4 seasons at best and fail when you least want it to. A failed gasket can put anyone in ruins out on the water in a short amount of time. Make sure you double check all your watertight locations before you head out. Now plan your route. Plan for the weather and plan for the worst. Make sure you know what to do and that you have a game plan if your kayak tips or you get too far offshore and you can't get back. If you get stranded in bad weather or someone unfortunately gets hurt, have a game plan. Now don't forget to tell someone. You want to make sure you share your plans with someone you trust before heading out. This may sound silly as we're all grown adults, but having to let others know your plans, as silly as it sounds, could eventually save your life one day. Now make sure there's someone who knows where you're at or where you should be and around what time you should be returning, just so someone else has your back. Just common sense things here. Now packing for the cold. It may feel like spring, it may look like spring when you're dry and on the bank, but the water is still plenty cold. And if you get wet, it's going to feel like winter again real quick. Pack like you would if there's still winter conditions out there, so you have everything you need to stay dry and stay warm this early spring fishing season. Now don't skip on the clothing. Nice weather on land doesn't always mean nice weather on water. It's important that you dress like you would for winter colder temps, even though it's springtime, meaning layers with waterproof shells, warm gloves, proper footwear, and the biggest item is that PFD. PFDs are a must. You must have that on anytime you're out paddling. Common sense. Now, make sure your survival gear is going to stay dry. Put your phone in a waterproof case along with other emergency supplies, just to make sure you keep it on you or tethered to your kayak so it doesn't sink if you flip or you don't drop it in the water and lose all form of communication. You know, things like RoboHawk tethers work perfectly for this kind of preparation. You can easily tether your phone to your body, to your kayak, so that it doesn't fall and disappear. Don't be afraid to call it quits. It can be frustrating or embarrassing to have to turn back, but your safety is more important. If you see ice or whitecaps on the lake, or you're just feeling unsure of your own or other paddlers' capabilities, it may be time to head back to shore. There's no shame in this game. Being safe on the water has to be your number one priority. Now, kayak smart. Know your skill level. Stick to the daylight hours. Stay close to shore. Avoid rough water. All things that if you're unsure of your capabilities, keep those in mind. Make it safe as possible. If it's your first time out in a while, paddle a step down from where you left off last season until you build that body strength and conditioning back up. Or let the water temperatures continue to rise until you feel comfortable going out with the proper gear. Spring can be a beautiful time of year for kayaking, but it's also important to stay safe. Now, I hope these simple tips, more or less common sense planning, can have more fun out on the water for you and your other fellow paddlers. Now that's it for today, folks. Tuesday, March 22nd. Spring is in the air. This has been your 10 to 1 update. Safe paddling out there, everybody. Tight lines.